How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 89, Ribas vs. Namajunas on March 23rd, 2024. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 13. Woo! We start with fat, blubbery heavyweights, Muhammad Usman versus Mick Parkin. This fight is a tough one to start with, because I want to pick Mick, bars. I want to pick him, but I am not impressed whatsoever with this kid. Listen, his straight ones and twos, and when he can get on the ground, he can use his blubber to suffocate people, I guess. But in the UFC, in the Jamal Pokes fight, it was pretty impressive because Jamal's pretty quick, and he was able to avoid most of his shots and this and that. But in that Caio Machado fight, and don't get me wrong, Caio did look impressive for a short notice debutant. He didn't look all that good. Caio was landing a lot of straight shots on Mick, and even when Mick was able to get to those big positions on the ground, he wasn't able to do anything with them. I don't think Mick is all that good, and I'm not saying Muhammad Usman is that good either, don't get me wrong. But when you look at the track record of both these guys and what they did outside the UFC, right? Jay Collier, every guy he beat outside of the UFC has negative records. Two of them, 1-12, and then this one dude from, I think is the Czech Republic, who is 2-27, has been flagged as a fake fighter who falls, who takes money to fall in fights. He has been flagged by Topology for fixing fights. This was the third or fourth opponent for Mick Parkin. What? I'm not joking. Look it up. I think he's from the Czech Republic, I believe. In Lycus or whatever. I think that what's going to pay Muhammad Usman dividends in this fight is his body shots that he goes for. He goes for a body jab a lot. His ones and twos are not bad. And I think a couple clashings of heads. Because, hear me out, both these guys lean a lot, especially Mick. When they throw straight shots, they lean off the center line and are like, ugh, just hit him somewhere, please. And they do that a lot. I think they're going to clash a lot of heads. And Mick, he's going to want to go for takedowns, this and that and the other, but I don't think he's going to be able to get them on Mo, because Mo's a strong, shorter guy. He's stronger than Mick, I assume. I mean, look at him. He's a fucking tank. I think that Mick is going to struggle with the strength of a Muhammad Usman, because he's a strong fucking boy. He's a motor, all right? I think Mo is just going to be able to shrug him off. I think he has a better gas tank than Mick. Mick is just so slow. He's so slow for a guy who is undefeated. It's how is no one taking advantage of this? And I'm not saying Mo is going to be the guy. I don't think Mo's going to finish him. I don't think Mo definitely hits hard, but I don't think he's going to be able to find a shot on Mick that's going to set him down, fully. He's not going to land the Zach Pyunga punch where he's just going to, throw a random right, awkward thrown, straight and knock out Mick. Because Mick, while he does get tagged a lot, not tagged a lot, but he gets hit pretty good, I don't know. I think this fight's going to mostly take place on the feet. And if we know anything about Muhammad Usman, we know he gets shafty decisions because of his brother. All right? Let's be honest. I'm a Kamaru Usman fan till I die, but, it's a bit of Muhammad Usman propaganda going on here in the UFC right now. And I think they're just going to gift him a decision 29-28. It's going to be a close fight. I think Mick's going to try and impose his will in the clinch. I don't think he's going to be able to do that well, because Muhammad Usman does do well in the clinch. In that Jake Collier fight, after getting rocked and almost submitted, he moved pretty well. I think the cardio is going to take a place. And if Mick wants to win this fight, he's going to have to go for leg kicks. And Mick doesn't throw leg kicks. He doesn't. He's more of a 1-2, lean off, left hook. He's that type of fighter, and he's not that good. Neither of these guys are that good. I'm not impressed with either of these dudes. They're never going to grace the top 15 of the division. But it's what opens up the card. We move to Igor Severino versus Andre Lima. Now, I love this fight. Both of these guys were on the Contender Series, both are young, both are undefeated. I see a lot of people picking Andre Lima to win this fight. I'm going to go with Igor. Listen, I can understand the Andre Lima pick. He's older. While he doesn't have the same fight experience, he is very experienced in other trades. He does a lot of Muay Thai fights. He does a lot of boxing fights. He just has a lot more experience under his belt, technically, even though he has less MMA fights. Andre is very calculated. Andre is a more low output, more accuracy based guy. On the Contender Series, he hit like 85 of 118 strikes, right? But what makes me lean towards Igor is the fact that Igor, while he is more wild and he is a little younger, people are using this age thing as like a basis to pick against Igor, just like, oh, muscles, dude. Igor's been fighting like 25-year-olds since he was 18. This is nothing new to Igor. People think that he's been fighting other 18-year-olds when he's younger. No. He's been fighting older dudes. On the Contender Series, when he was 20, he actually fought a 27-year-old in Jahanta Silva. And the fight prior to that, I'm pretty sure he fought another, like, 28-year-old guy. Right? This is nothing new to him. This is a new skill level, I'll give you that. Because I don't think any of those guys compare to the skill level of Andre Lima. But Andre Lima is a little open. And what I mean by that is, when he does, because these guys kind of do have the same throwing style. When they throw heavy right hands, they lunge forward. The difference is that Andre naturally drops his other arm when he throws big punches like that. Igor covers up with his other arm. He keeps it up. He does not drop it. He keeps it up. Igor's defense is surprisingly very good. His striking defense, he can check leg kicks pretty well. He did it on the Contender Series several times. One of Andre Lima's big attacks that he likes to throw is a leg kick. When these guys are exchanging in the pocket, Andre Lima's more rangy. He loves to use his straight punches. Igor leans off to the side. He loves to throw hooks in the pocket, and I think Igor is going to connect more. He hits pretty damn hard. On the Contender Series, Andre gets physically frustrated when fighting whoever he was fighting. I forget his name. It was fucking... He's not in the UFC, let's put it like that. He got frustrated when the guy wouldn't come up and fight him. He had to keep chasing this guy. Now he has a fight where he's going to be in the pocket with somebody, and he's in the pocket with Igor Severino. Severino. And I think Igor's better in the pocket. He has better defense than Andre Lima in those situations. And I think Andre's going to end up caught lacking. Now, for who has better cardio, I'm pretty sure that would lean more towards Andre. But it's due to the fact that he's so low output. And he's walking forward a lot. He isn't backing up a lot. Igor's going to make him back up a little bit. He's going to put a lot of pressure. And I also think that the ground game is going to get invested in by Igor. Igor has several submission wins. Andre doesn't. Andre's all knockouts. He doesn't really practice. Now, he's Brazilian, so I assume he's probably like a brown belt at least. But Igor does go to the ground a lot. Most of his wins, I think half of them are by submission. And he does tend to go to the ground if he can get there. So, Andre is very front foot heavy, while Igor also is a little... I think that Igor's just going to take him down a little bit. I think he's going to wear on the gas tank of Andre and make it a dogfight. I think he'll end up TKOing him in the third round. I think he will. I think Igor's heavy fight style will take a toll on Andre throughout the fight, and I think he'll TKO him in the third round. I think Andre is going to start to fade away as this fight starts to get longer, and the punches... His long-ranging punches are going to be less accurate. He won't be able to hit Igor as much. I think Igor's just going to win off of pace and pressure. And he's going to land more. He's going to defend well. He's not going to get hit on an 80% clip like the guy in the Contender Series. He has really good defense. If he loses, I'm going to cry. I'm trying to plead my case about this because a lot of people are picking Andre. But dude, Igor's sick, dude. That's my whole... Igor's fucking sick. I can understand both picks, but I'll go with Igor Severino. We move to Montserrat Rendon versus Daria Zelenskikova. probably butchered her last name. I think I said it right. Who cares? I'm going with Daria. I won't say her last name. My whole issue with this fight is Montserrat Rendon's stand-up is just super, like, kind of, I don't want to say shitty, because I feel like that's too harsh. You know what I mean? Let's say she leaves a lot to be desired on the feet. That's what I'll say. She's very slow. She throws only straight shots. Her best weapon is a leg kick. She hardly has any speed on any of her shots. She's wide open as well. I mean, Tamiris Vidal was hitting shots that I think a fucking kindergartner could have landed. She was winging them shits. And now she's fighting Daria Zelenskikova, who is a dynamic striker on the feet, who throws a lot of kicks, who is pretty quick, throws straight shots with ease. She hits pretty damn hard. And I think she'll finish Montserrat Rendon in the first round. Now here's the Pandora's box with this fight. Here's the Daria Zelenskikova. Her one loss is to Melissa, I think her name is now Melissa Mullins, formerly known as Melissa Dixon, who is staring at two people at once. That's rude, I'm sorry. But on the regional scene in Aries, FC I think is what it is, Daria was beating the shit out of her on the feet, and then Melissa got a takedown and then finished her on the ground. Daria, as a Russian woman, her weak point is her wrestling, which is shocking. But Montserrat, even on the ground, isn't that violent. She's more control, more than... She throws decent straights on the ground, I guess. Like, her ground and pound isn't terrible, but I don't think it's finish-worthy. She doesn't try to move around. She's more stationary and full guard. She's content with doing that. And I don't think she's going to get there. I hope she doesn't, because if she gets there, then my pick is fucking nullified, I guess. So I'm going with Daria Zelenskikova, first round TKO. If she gets taken down, well, it is what it is, brother. It is what it is, brother. We move to Jarno Aarons versus Stephen Nguyen. I'm going to go with Stephen Nguyen. When I look at this matchup, I see two guys who are stand-up specialists. They do their best work on the feet. Jarno Aarons is a little uncalculated with his approach. He does a lot of jumping side kicks to the body. He does a lot of, like, specialty moves, trying to get, like, a pop from the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Because his first two fights have been in, arenas. This one's in the Apex. No one gives a shit, dude. He's fighting a guy like Stephen Nguyen, who... Even though this is his debut, by the way, it's meant to say debut in the fucking parentheses. I fucked up, that's my bad. He has 3 fights on the Contender Series. One was against AJ Cunningham, who's been in the UFC before. He fought Ludwig Klein not too long ago. His one previous to that was a dude who's 5-1. I forget what his actual name is, though. And then the one way before that, on like 2019, 2018, he actually loses by flying knee KO. He got knocked out. But he has 3 fights in the Contender Series, 2-1 on the Contender Series. He won 2 of them. They were the most recent outings. He doesn't fight often. The time frame between those 2 fights is about 2 years, I believe. But man, is Steven good. He's listen, his boxing defense is a little shaky, but man, he's fast and he hits hard. He fucking cracks dudes. It's rough. And when I see a guy like Jarno Aarons, who is 0-2 in the promotion, and who lost to Sungwoo Choi, and was getting hit by straight shots by Sungwoo Choi and losing in pocket exchanges with Sungwoo Choi, I can't help but think, what's Stephen Nguyen gonna do to this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Steven's just gonna piece him up. Listen, Jarno Aarons can land some bullshit and knock out Steven, because he's been knocked out before, of course, via flying knee. If he goes for some bullshit like that, he can knock him out, but Steven's pretty reserved, man. I think he's gonna clip him a couple of times. I think Jarno will survive to the second, maybe by using clinch exchanges, but other than that, I think Steven's gonna fucking knock this dude out, piece him up, send him away in a body bag. Jarno rushes with his head on a silver platter sometimes. Steven's gonna fucking piece him up, dude. Watch. I'll go second round TKO, Stephen Wynn. Trust. We move to Miles Johns versus Cody Gibson. I'm going to go with Cody Gibson in this fight. I see some people picking Miles Johns. I see a lot of people picking Miles Johns, in fact. A lot of people are, going against Cody Gibson due to his age. He's older. He had a war with Brad Katona, who we're now realizing isn't really that insanely good. But let me just point some things out about this fight that I love to bring up. Miles Johns is taking this fight on short notice, and Miles Johns isn't known for having the best cardio. Not saying Cody Gibson has a good cardio. His cardio is a little waning near the end too, but Miles Johns is notoriously known for gassing out. That's what he's mostly known for. And also, in his last fight against Dan Argueta, a lot of people are not realizing he popped hot. How is he able to fight this close to now? I have no idea, but he popped hot for having high levels of Trinabol. I think it's how you pronounce it, or I forget how you pronounce it, but in his system. Miles Johns is too wild on the feet. He throws too many looping shots. His striking's weird. His wrestling isn't even all that good, if I'm being honest. I don't know how Miles Johns has the record he has inside the UFC. Because that no contest, he beat Dan Argueta. I think Cody Gibson's going to win, man. I know his record in the UFC sucks. 1-4, this, that, and the other. But listen, man. He is good. Brad Katona, whether you hate him or not, whether you think he's ass or not, he's decent. All right, he's pretty good. Garrett Armfield is also pretty good. That's why he lost to him. Brad Katona is a way better fighter than Miles Johns. Let's get that straight. All right, his striking is significantly better than Miles Johns. He's more crisp and technical. Miles Johns, I don't even think is going to be able to get Cody Gibson down, and if he does, Cody Gibson has a good, well-rounded ground game. He does. All right, that's kind of like, he has like a bunch of submissions on his record. He got into the finals off of a submission on The Ultimate Fighter over Rico Discoli, the only Team McGregor guy to win a fight. All right? I think a lot of people are trying to hype up this Miles Johns dude, not hype him up, but pick him off of false narratives. Alright, I don't think Miles Johns is all that good. I don't think Cody Gibson is all that good, but I think Cody Gibson early on is pretty decent for a bantamweight fighter. 5'10" at bantamweight is crazy, may I say. And also, Miles Johns says he's 5'7". Well, he's he's not. I think Miles Johns is going to get pieced up on the feet by Cody Gibson. I think Cody Gibson's striking, he is also a little wild, but Miles Johns' striking defense is ass, dude. It's so bad. And it's not like his chin is all that great. Sure, he's only been, I think, knocked out once, but he gets wobbled pretty easily. He's got wobblestone, cobblestone knees, as Lucas Tracy loves to say. I'll go Cody Gibson second round TKO. I don't think Miles Johns is all that good. He's taking it on short notice. I think he's going to get hurt in this fight. We move to Ricardo Ramos versus Julian Juicy J. Erosa, baby. I know I just did like a cool theatrical introduction for Julian, but I'm picking against him. I'm going Ricardo Ramos. Listen, when you're a guy like Julian Erosa, 11 losses, 28-11, right? That's not insanely bad, right? 11 losses on 39 fights. You know, it's double digits, but it's not too bad. When you factor in the fact that 7 of those 11 are by knockout. Oh, brother, this dude's chin is made of fucking cheddar cheese, dude. Holy shit. Julian Erosa is coming off of 2 back-to-back knockout losses. One to Fernando Padilla, and then the other to Alex Caceres. Listen, Ricardo Ramos, love him or hate him, he is one of the most, inconsistent dudes I think we've seen in the UFC ever. He reminds me of the younger Charles Oliveira. When he was super inconsistent, he'd win some and then lose some and then win some and then lose some. He reminds me very much of early Charles. You know, he has very weird striking. He has 2 knockouts with, like, spinning back elbows. One against Danny Chavez. I forget what the other one was. And, of course, he's coming off a submission loss. And Julian Erosa does have good submissions. But if Ricardo can just land something big on Julian Erosa's chin, I think he'll die. I think his legs will give out and his brain will shut off. So no matter how inconsistent Ricardo Ramos is, or however many hits it'll take, I think Ricardo will get him out of there in the first round. He might even get it done by submission if he knocks him down and then just chokes him out. But I'll go with TKO in the first. Ricardo does hit pretty hard when he can land some of his very weird strikes. I mean, he literally shut Danny Chavez down. Like, he froze up, and then he hit him a couple more times, and he crumbled. So I'll go with Ricardo Ramos, for sure. We move to Kurt Holobaugh versus Trey Ogden. 2 grizzled vets, you know what I'm saying? This fight's pretty hard to pick. You look at these 2 guys, their fight styles, they match kind of each other. They resemble each other pretty well, I'd say. And I think I'm going to go with Trey Ogden. And I grit my teeth at that pick because I really don't know who I want to pick in this fight. Because Kurt Holobaugh, they said on the broadcast that it was his first submission win in a pro MMA bout since 2016. Or maybe it was his first triangle choke or whatever. He has 10 submission wins. But Trey Ogden also has a lot of submission wins as well. Right? And I'm looking at this fight. They're both grizzled vets. They're both tough outs. Look at their UFC records, of course. Kurt Holobaugh was on the season where he was a veteran on the Ultimate Fighter. Trey Ogden 1-2-1. Realistically should be 2-2 because he was beating the shit out of Nicholas Mota. I don't know who said it, but I heard someone say that Nicholas Mota was beating Trey Ogden. I forget who it was. I'll have to rewatch it, but I'm going to find you. Trey Ogden, the people he's lost to in the UFC, Ignacio Bahamondes, and I forget who the other guy was. They're significant strikers on the feet. Kurt Holobaugh is very wild, not very controlled, not very reserved. And maybe that was just because of the Austin Hubbard fight, where he was super wild on the feet, but that's kind of just how he is. He's a wild guy. You look at a guy like Trey Ogden, he's not as wild, very reserved, very jab-heavy. And when you look at a guy like Kurt Holobaugh, who does get tagged by jabs, I think this fight's going to be a dogfight. I don't see somebody getting finished in this. If it is a finish, it'll be submission. I don't see anybody getting knocked out, right? Both of these guys haven't gotten knocked out in a while. I think the last guy to knock out Kurt Holobaugh, the only guy to knock him out was Raoni Barcelos in his first UFC 10 year. And I forget who knocked Trey Ogden out, but I think there's going to be a lot of fun ground exchanges on this fight because both these guys have very well-endowed ground games. Kurt Holobaugh, that arm triangle, not arm triangle, yeah. What was arm? God damn it. I can't think. But the transition he had on Austin Hubbard was insane. It was very good. I think Trey Ogden's going to just slightly edge it out, 29-28. Just slightly. This one's going to decision, I feel. I think he'll win rounds 1, maybe win rounds 2 and 3. I think Kurt will win round 1 based off pressure and stuff like that, but I think Trey will edge it out in the end. We move to the main card, Fernando Padilla versus Luis Pajuelo. I'm going to go with Fernando Padilla. I think this one's a pretty easy one, if I'm being honest. Luis, while he is a finisher, he does hit pretty hard. His striking is somewhat clean. I think what this fight's mostly going to be is defense, kickboxing combos on the feet, and just length in general. And I think Padilla, because here's the thing, a lot of people are like, oh, that Robbie Ring performance by Luis was great. He weathered the storm, but he was getting tagged up on the feet by a guy with a 68-inch reach using straight punches, right? Fernando Padilla is very good with 1s and 2s and 3s. He's very good using his range, using teeps to the body. He's very slick. And I think he's just going to tag up Luis Puello a lot. I mean, and we see Luis, he doesn't really set up his strikes a lot. You know, Fernando does. He is pretty good at setting up his strikes. You know, he's got good defense as well. He can check leg kicks, which is another thing that Luis Puello does a lot. He throws a lot of leg kicks. And even if this fight gets to the ground, I think that Luis will probably have a bit of a ground and pound advantage. He does have pretty vicious ground and pound. That is one of the things I really like about Luis is, dude, he's fucking vicious on the ground, dude. He's a fucking mean motherfucker, dude. He's mean as fuck. In the Robbie Ring fight, he threw a knee to the body from, like, side control, which was fucking brutal. It ended the fight, basically. But I think that this is too much of a step up in competition for Luis Puello. And I know you can make that for every debuting guy, right? But Robbie Ring's fight style is very different from a Fernando Padilla, right? This isn't like a Robelis Despain situation where, like, he doesn't have a significant height advantage. He doesn't have a, you know, I think it's just too much too early for him. Fernando is pretty damn good. Like, he has power in his hands, too. So if he lands a couple, I think this one could be over pretty quick. I'll go round 1 KO, Fernando Padilla. We move to Billy Quarantillo versus Yusuf Zalal. Again, another short notice replacement fight, of course, because this is a Apex card. I'm going with Billy Quarantillo, yet again, based off the same things that it's always been. A short notice guy, Yusuf Zalal, you know, this guy at one point was able to make 135, right? He's a little soy boy, okay? He has a good gas tank. He's fought a lot of good guys in the UFC. I mean, his only losses in the UFC are to, you know, Ilia Topuria, who that loss is aging well. Sean Woodson, which is, he's a hard, tough out. And then Sung Woo Choi. Now, that's where I draw the, that's where I draw the line. But Sung Woo Choi, really? Really? And it's not like that fight was after the Ilia Topuria one. So, make it make sense. I think this fight is just going to be based on Yusuf Zalal taking it on short notice, going really hard in the first and second round, gassing out. Even though he does have a good gas tank, his gas tank is pretty well. He can grapple very well. I think what's going to be different is striking cardio. Right, because there's a difference between striking for 15 minutes and wrestling for 15 minutes. Right? When you're throwing, you're doing all that because he's going to try and mix it up. There's going to be a lot of lactic acid in those arms, man. Billy Quarantillo, he can throw still for a while. He can take damage. I know he got knocked out in his last fight against Edson Barboza, but Yusuf Zalal doesn't have the striking of Edson Barboza. Let's keep it a buck. All right, let's be honest. He's pretty open on the feet. Billy's going to be landing 1s and 2s down the pipe on this fucking kid. Just fucking beating him up. Billy's going to fuck this dude up. If he doesn't, then I'm killing myself because I love Billy Quarantillo, and I can't stand seeing him lose 2 in a row. Okay? So, Billy, I feel like his pace and pressure is going to be his main weapon, which it usually is just walking forward, stalking guys down, eating punches. Yusuf Zalal doesn't really have that much power in his hands, alright? He doesn't, other than Damon Blackshear, which was down a weight class again, right? He has power, but other than that, not really. No, not really from Yusuf Zalal. He was trying to say he was Ilia Topuria's toughest fight. Okay, dude, you're 5'10" at featherweight. You're fucking massive for the division. You're a massive fucking guy. You're fucking humongous. But then again, you know, it is what it is. And also, he does have the reach advantage. I don't think that really matters when Billy's just going to be in your face the entire fight, right? And even then, Yusuf Zalal, his takedown defense isn't really that good. And when he's been off, people are like, 3-fight win streak outside the UFC against absolute fucking shit cans, dude. 6-5. 9-4. Not bad. But get this. Yusuf Zalal's last opponent in MMA was making their MMA debut. What the fuck? Billy Quarantillo by fucking second or third round TKO. I'll go second round. Fuck this kid. We move to Peyton Talbot versus Cameron Simon. Honestly, one of my favorite fights on the entire card. Also, probably one of the hardest fights to pick. I'm going to go with Peyton Talbot. Now, we've seen Cameron Simon, we've seen both these guys struggle, if I'm being honest. We've seen both Peyton Talbot and Cameron Simon face adversity in their careers. Cameron Simon, of course, lost to Christian Rodriguez, which we're now seeing as a loss that everyone is starting to have on their records now at bantamweight and featherweight because the fat cunt can't make weight. But, you know, I'm not going to dock that against him because I feel like Christian Rodriguez is a very good fighter, and he also missed weight heavily in that fight. But we have seen Cameron Simon struggle with stronger, bigger guys. And Peyton Talbot is a bigger, stronger guy who also pressures a lot, who is slick on the feet, because I think Christian Rodriguez, while he is pretty good on the feet, I think Peyton Talbot is even better than him on the feet. And Peyton Talbot has that same look of calmness on his face that Christian Rodriguez is very famous for, which causes a lot of guys to struggle with him, because Peyton Talbot's cardio is very, very good. He can go through anything. And Cameron Simon, in that Christian Rodriguez fight, faced adversity due to cardio. And this isn't like a Christian Rodriguez where he missed weight, so he has good cardio. This is a bantamweight who just has good cardio in general. I'm not going to use Merab Dvalishvili as an example, because Merab has the cardio that makes anyone go, what the fuck is this happening? What's going on? Peyton Talbot does have good cardio, though. And Cameron Simon does have decent cardio, but we've seen him get pushed to his limits, and he does start to slow down and break. And when Peyton Talbot sees that, when he sees you start to slow down, that's when he really starts to pick it up. And I think that's what's going to cause this fight to shift tides, because Cameron Simon does have good takedowns in his arsenal. He is very well endowed on the ground. Peyton Talbot, if you want to beat him, you have to do it on the ground. Even though he is open to shots, he has a hell of a chin. He has a hell of a chin. And Cameron Simon, I love him to death, but he gets hit quite a bit, and he has some weird responses to strikes. Peyton kind of walks forward and eats him. Cameron, in that Christian Rodriguez fight in that third round, got rocked by a jab. I won't say rocked, but he got stumbled by a jab. You know what I'm saying? There's just a difference in power here. There's a difference in size. There's a difference in just cardio and pace-pushing pedigree. Alliteration for any of you nerds. And I think Peyton Talbot's going to be able to impose his will on a guy like Cameron Simon, and I think this is going to hurt to watch, because I love Cameron Simon, and I want to pick him, but I just don't think I can. Because they've both faced adversity, but who faced adversity better is Peyton Talbot. And he's already faced a bigger wrestler in Nick Aguirre, and he passed that test with flying colors besides the first round. He beat the shit out of that guy, right? And on the Contender Series, he fought Tracy Cortez's brother, right, who was a pretty decent fighter who also fought Christian Rodriguez, and he pushed a pace better than Christian Rodriguez did against him, right? There's levels to this, and I think Peyton Talbot is going to show that he is a true contender at bantamweight. Cameron Simon's going to take a knock. He's still so young. He's still improving, man. And, you know, I think that's what's going to cause the end of this fight. Pace, pressure, and just all-around size and strength advantage going to Peyton Talbot. We move to Edmund Shabazian versus AJ Dobson. Listen, I'm either going to have the worst night of picks or the best night of picks. I'm going to go with AJ Dobson. Listen, Edmund Shabazian is a weird fighter. He is one of the weird... He has such talent on the feet, but he's slow as well on the feet. His ones and twos are very slow. His actual punches are very slow. His kicks is where I get worried, because his kicks are very fast. His knees, his elbows are pretty quick, but his actual hand speed is very slow. AJ Dobson is very fast for middleweight. Pretty quick. He's actually a very quick guy. And he's got a gas tank. A lot of people look at his UFC record, 1-2 in the UFC, this, that, and the other. But his two losses are to Jacob Malkoun, who's a wrestler. He got wrestled in that fight. And then Armen Petrosyan, who we've seen isn't as good as we thought he was, but he's still a pretty high-level fighter. He's pretty good. And you could even argue A.J. Dobson won that fight, right? You can argue that. And then he beats the shit out of Tefan Njoukwi for, 3 rounds. I think that he's going to wrestle in this fight. Edmen Shahbazyan is notoriously known for having a bad gas tank and really bad wrestling. That's what he's known for. That is what he's known for. A.J. Dobson, I feel, is going to be able to get him down. He throws a lot of leg kicks as well. I think that's going to take away the threat of Edmen Shahbazyan kicking his head off. He's going to wear down his legs. He's going to wear down his gas tank. I think he can get a 3rd-round finish on this guy, on the ground. Edmen, if he wins this, I don't really care. I think A.J. Dobson, he should win this fight. Edmen Shahbazyan should probably beat A.J. Dobson. He probably should. But I think A.J.'s style, where he's very light on his feet, he's very light, leg kick, very fast 1-2. I think it's going to catch Edmen off guard. And A.J. Dobson has a pretty solid chin. Edmen fatigues. He also has a weird body. I don't. That's probably mean to say, but he's got a weird gut. I think AJ's gonna win this. I'm either gonna have the best night of picks or the worst night of picks on this card. I'm going with a couple underdogs here. Co-main event of the evening, I guess. Carl Williams, Justin Tafa. I'm going with Carl Williams. I think Carl Williams is just overall a better fighter than Justin Tafa. He's got a better cardio than Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa, I don't think Carl is going to be able to get him down, is my issue. Because Justin Tafa, he's a short man. Bad man he is. He's so fat, he can't fit on plane seats, apparently. Why would you ever say that to the media? Big guy, yeah? I can't even fit on plane seats. You can't say that, you fat oaf. You big fat fucking ogre. I think that he's going to be a tough out for Carl Williams, but Carl's pretty quick on the feet. He's got a good chin. He's fought crafty guys like Chase Sherman in the UFC and Lucas Brzezinski. I think this fight's going to be close, but I think Carl's going to win in a decisive manner. You know what I'm saying? 30-27, but rounds are close, if you get what I'm saying. If you get what I'm saying. Justin Tafa, he's got great power, sure, when he can land. I don't think he's going to be able to land on Carl Williams, and I think Carl's going to make it a stinky fight against the fence, using clinch work, clinch knees. Justin Tafa is going to try and make it fun for the 100 people in attendance, But I don't think it's going to matter. He's also taking this on short notice after having a knee injury by being too fat to be able to sit on a plane. The Tafa brothers are some of the weird... They're bad men. Don't get me wrong. They're bad motherfuckers, but I'm so confused. I think Carl's going to land a couple good leg kicks here and there. He's not... He doesn't throw leg kicks. He's not going to... I think he throws like 1 or 2, but... Justin, I don't know, man. This fight is very weird. I'm going with Carl Williams, though. This fight's fucking weird, man. We go to the main event, which I probably will miss on. Amanda Ribas versus Rose Namajunas. I'm going with Rose Namajunas. If I miss this one, I'm killing myself. I said it before. I need to hit these main events now, because I'm down, I think, 1-9 right now on wins and losses on these main events. I'm fucking sucking my own chode right now. I need to hit some of these. Rose Namajunas, I think she's just a better fighter than Amanda Ribas. I think that's all it's going to be. I think that's literally it. Amanda, she tries to make it fun, but she's never fought 5 rounds. She's a very 3-round heavy fighter, and she also doesn't have... she even starts to slow down in those fights. She does have fun fights in those, but, she starts to slow down. She's very sloppy. That's what she makes. This noise she makes whenever she throws punches. She's very, she's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love Amanda Ribas, but, her skill set for 5 rounds is not that great. Rose Namajunas has fought better competition. Even in that Manon Fiorot fight, everyone's like, oh, she got fucking schooled by Manon Fiorot. It's like, dude, Manon Fiorot is going to probably fight for a title in the next 3 years. I have Erin Blanchfield beating her next week, but, that's besides the point, right? Amanda Fiorat's one of the top ladies in this division. I think she schools Amanda Ribas. Right? Rose Namajunas, even in that fight with a broken hand, made it competitive. I think she broke her hand in the first round, and she still made it competitive. Arguably, stole some of the rounds, right? She arguably stole rounds 2 and 3, right? It's a very close fight, and I think that her skill set is very well for Amanda Ribas. I think she's going to drag her into the later rounds. Probably make it a little stinky early on, very slow output, very slow pace. Pick it up near the end. This fight is probably going to go to decision. I'll say 48-47 Rose Namajunas. I think she's going to outdamage Amanda Ribas. Probably going to slow down near the end. Rose is probably going to almost finish her in rounds 4 and 5. Come pretty close. Amanda Ribas has very good ground. She has good submissions and all that, but she doesn't go to the ground. She doesn't want to go down there. She's like, I want to fight on your feet. And then we get to see Rose go, I'm the beast, I'm the beast. And we get to see all this bullshit. Rose is going to fucking walk out with a scowl on her face with that fucking pedophile rat behind her. Fucking, his main event's going to fight. It sucks, dude. Oh my god. Spring break. Thank God it's spring break because I get the whole next week off. And then we get another first women main event of the year, fellas. We got 2 in a row. Very fun fights, actually, though. Very fun. Amanda Ribas, Rose Namajunas has the ability to be a very fun fight. Same with Amanda Fiorat, Aaron Blanchfield, depending on how long that fight goes on. Because Amanda Fiorat and Aaron Blanchfield, their gas tanks are a little weird. I don't know. I'm going to go with Rose Namajunas, 48-47, unanimous decision. Rose is going to be like, I am the beast at the end, you know what I'm saying? And then everyone's going to be like, Doug Rose, whoa, it's Doug Rose, whoa. I'm UFC Thoughts. These have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 89. Ribas vs. Namajunas. I'm UFC Thoughts. These have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 89. Ribas vs. Namajunas on March 23rd, 2024. My confident picks reside with Stephen Wynn, Ricardo Ramos, and Billy Quarantillo. My pre-card rating is a 6 out of 10. We have 2 more pretty weird cards after this, and then we get to the big one, UFC 300. I can't wait for that card. Just please, can it come anytime sooner? I'll see you guys after the fights. Peace.